Subset TGIF. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to think good by thinking independently and having fun. Also, I know you probably can't read my writing. It's not for you guys. It's for me to help kind of follow my thoughts and be able to relate, because I'm not writing down anything new. And I've already, whatever. It'll just put your thoughts kind of together. It's nice. Even if it's not for anybody else, it just kind of helps organize stuff. So just think of this like a podcast where I'm just keeping track of what I'm doing. But anyway, all right, let's play a little fun game today. Why is water wet? So let's Google it. Let's see if we know why water's wet. Water is wet in the sense of being a liquid which flows easily because its viscosity is low. That does nothing for me. All right, let's try to define wet. Wet definition. Covered or saturated with water or another liquid. So covered or saturated. Okay. Cover defined. Put something on top or in front of something, especially in order to protect or conceal. So put something on top or in front of. So if we go back, wet, covered with what? So water on top or in front of something. So water in front of something would also be considered in this definition, which doesn't really make sense. On top of makes sense though, right? What is wet? That's the one we started with. Saturated. Okay. Because one of these definitions says like partially saturated. So okay, let's define saturated. Holding as much water or moisture as can be absorbed, thoroughly soaked. All right, so you can't be partially saturated. Saturated or not. Holding as much as possible or not, given the conditions. So the logical flaw in the circular definitions that are established here, if I had to find one, which may, it just kind of depends on what information you're pulling, because maybe you have a better definition. But where I'm seeing the problem here is, sorry, let me give you my eyes. Where I'm seeing the problem here is partially saturated. That's not a thing. Saturated or not, A or B, 1 or -1. So, okay, now let me give you why I think water's wet. Well, I think water's wet because we can feel it. Okay, well, why can we feel water's wet? Is water important? Yeah? All right, let's start just playing a game and rolling through some assumptions. So I think water is wet to us because it's one of the things that we need to survive. So we developed a sense kind of specifically for it. But we don't like, kind of all of our senses are designed to find what we need to survive, really, right? Like all of our senses are ways to protect our own life, right? And continue doing what we're doing. So, okay, why is water wet? Well, water's wet because we need it. That's why I think we need water. That's why we feel it as wet. Because, all right, let's see if that jives, right? Like, humidity. The air's wet. The air's wet. Think about that for a second. It's not saturated. So it's not partially the air's not partially saturated. It can't be. We already said that it's either saturated or it's not by definition, right? So it's humid, right? There's water in the air. The air is saturated when it's raining. Or right before it rains, right? I don't know, right? That's at that line. There's a point of saturation. Point of saturation, dew point. That works. All right. So water is wet because we need it. So what else? All right. We can stop here. If you want to stop there, stop there. But I think if we could probably use that logic to draw some additional inferences, right? So if we say, okay, what are our senses? So we can see things with our eyes. Let's just talk about what we can see with our eyes, right? we see water. We can see the reflection in the water. The water looks blue. Is the water blue? No, the water's clear. So the sky's blue. But the sky's blue because the water's blue, but the water's not blue. It's clear. All right. So that, let's just make something up and guess. Well, if you watch my video from yesterday, I said that the order of life evolving on Earth, at least, was likely fungal before it was biological. So then, then our evolution from a single cell would have been a lot of happy accidents, and we would have kept what works, and we would have continued developing better things that work, right? So you kind of see how nature has its own specialties, right? And I think we're the specialty thinkers. And again, not my thought. I'm putting together everybody else's thoughts. All right, so what can we see? We can see the rainbow. I won't get all the different colors, but let's just write it out. Roy G. Biv. All right, I'm going to end this one here for why water's wet, and then I'm going to pick you guys up on the next one on why I think we can see what we see. Much love.